This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by the National Campaign Against Drunk Driving. On today's Destructoid show, Alan Wake's American Nightmare invites us into the darkness, Star Wars The Old Republic has some long lines, and we announce the winners of our Xbox contest. All that and more is happening right now on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Monday, Max!
Happy Monday, Tara.
So, Destructoid's Game of the Year pick, huh?
Oh yeah, that's right. That was Portal 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100 angry comments on that video.
Wow.
Not a single one about my breasts.
It's exciting.
I'm so proud of you guys.
I love it.
For real.
I love it. You guys fall directly into our trap. Do you know what the Game of the Year awards, what purpose they serve at all? Nothing.
I'm not even really sure myself.
It is just putting some blood in the water so the internet can get angry and argue about why things shouldn't be Game of the Year, and we can all go on vacation. That's what's exciting about it. That's what's wonderful. You fell right into our traps.
Ha, suckers.
Tara, do we have any news today?
We do have news before our vacation. Now, normally we'd have some releases of the week for you since it is Monday, but there's really not a whole lot worth mentioning this week besides, the obvious Star Wars The Old Republic, which you're going to be talking about later. So instead of our usual segment, I'm just going to hop straight into the news.
Ooh la la.
Now, Destructoid editor Wesley Rusher was lucky enough to get some hands-on time recently with Alan Wake's American Nightmare, which is the upcoming XBLA spin-off from Remedy Entertainment. This game is set in the fictional town of Night Springs, which you may recall as the TV program from the first Alan Wake, and based on what we've seen so far, looks like Remedy's done actually a pretty good job at giving the town that characteristic, creepy, almost Resident Evil-ish vibe to it. While on the hunt to find his wife, Alan finds himself facing off against Mr. Scratch, his evil doppelganger, who's been leaving behind cryptic video messages to screw with his head. Now, although the game seems to offer a lot in the way of narrative and optional story content, the combat is really what Remedy is wanting to show off right now. According to Wesley, the action in the game is even more intense and fast-paced than it was in the original Alan Wake, and it comes complete with beautiful animations, new weapon types like crossbows and nail guns, which are always fun, and of course new enemies. Terrifying ones that reconfigure themselves and then split into smaller and faster creatures that attack you. Not unlike the wolf spider, which is another one of nature's horrifying offspring.
The worst
Do
things
not
ever.
step on one of those, it will ruin your day. So in addition to the game's rich campaign, it also offers a horde mode style of play called Fight Till Dawn, where you literally just fight off waves of enemies until dawn. It lasts around 10 minutes per round, I think. That comes with 5 maps at launch, although they've only shown off the cemetery map thus far. But according to Remedy, the arcade mode was actually developed before the game's single-player story, which should hopefully demonstrate just how much emphasis they're putting on action this time around. There's no solid release date yet, but we're getting closer. Remedy just announced this morning that the game will be coming out on XBLA in the middle of the first quarter of 2012. So probably around February, I'm thinking. I don't know how these quarter systems work. But you can check out Wesley's full preview on Destructoid.com if you are interested in the details. Should be good stuff.
Excellent.
I'm actually a little bit more excited about that than I was before.
It looks good. It looks scary. It looks good. And Alan Wake looks like Ray Romano. That flannel shirt just makes it just. I just think
that's what I was thinking
right?
of.
It's Ray Romano fighting crow zombies and shit. Anyway, that looks much too upsetting for me. I'd rather talk about Pokemon.
I would rather not.
I know. It's been a long time since we talked about anything related to Pokemon because A, there has been no Poke News, and B, she doesn't like Pokemon, so she tries to put up a fight about it whenever I want to talk about
Pokemon.
it. Yeah, well, Pokemon's awesome, so fuck you, Tara. Pokemon, when you think about Pokemon, you think about cute animals fighting, and you got to go catch them all because they're little Pokemon. Well, apparently when some people think Pokemon, they think feudal Japanese warfare.
Now that makes sense.
I don't get it. Koei Tecmo and the Pokemon Company are teaming up to release Pokemon Plus Nobunaga's Ambition on the DS next year in Japan. Now, if you're not familiar, Nobunaga's Ambition is a turn-based strategy RPG series set in the Sengoku period of feudal Japan. The original Nobunaga's Ambition was released in 1983 for Japanese PCs, and myriad sequels have made their way to just about every platform imaginable, though the series hasn't really been quite so popular in the West. Now, Pokemon Plus Nobunaga's Ambition combines the two series, teaming up adorable pocket monsters with, ruthless warlords. The game itself looks pretty nice. It's got fully animated Pokemon and some very nice artwork. I quite like the look of it. But one thing that grabbed me was the player character starts off with Eevee, who is my favorite Pokemon, #1 of all time. Now, I think it's very unlikely we'll see this game getting released outside of Japan. The amount of people who are interested in Pokemon battles and feudal Japanese strategy games probably aren't enough to justify localization. Just seems like kind of a stretch.
Can you destroy Pokemon in it? Because
Probably.
if so, then it's a day one purchase.
You can do that in regular Pokemon games. I think you're a closet Pokemon fan.
I'm just gonna buy the game and smash it. How about that?
Tara Long.
Yeah, how you like them
Pokemaniac?
apples,
Question
Max?
mark.
So if you're traveling home for the holidays and cannot manage to fit your Xbox or PS3 in your suitcase, which by the way does not work, I've tried, fear not, because Steam just kicked off their big holiday sale. So from now until January 1st, they're going to be slashing prices on new games every day and offering extra discounts on game and complete publishers packages as well. Very cool. For example, today they've got Orcs Must Die on sale for $374, which is less than $375 max, and it's a really fun tower defense game where you find new and interesting ways to slaughter oncoming waves of orcs. Sounds fun, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. It is pretty fun. So in addition to their regular sale, Steam is also doing this thing they call the Great Gift Pile, where you complete objectives within games you already own, and then you get rewarded with either a lump of coal or a gift from the Great Gift Pile, which can range from anything from a free game to a coupon for anywhere from 25 to 75% off a game. Bunch of good stuff in there. Not only are Steam sales a great way to ignore your family for the holidays, they also make terrific last-minute gifts for people who really suck at buying gifts, like myself. And really, who wouldn't love a nice farming simulator for Christmas? Anyone?
Tara, you already have
Just
a copy
me?
of that game. I'm not getting you another one.
Yeah, but it's on sale for $15.
I know you like Farming Simulator. Just hold out for Farming Simulator 2012. It's like right around the corner, I'm sure.
I'm
Maybe.
sure great strides
Probably.
have been made in the farming
I can't-
simulation
She
industry.
actually has this game.
I actually own this game, and we
we're-
legitimately bought it for $30 at full price.
We're only half kidding about this.
really
Oh,
fun.
Tara. Now, okay, let's moving on to something much more interesting than farming. Star Wars: The Old Republic. The fever is spreading. It's crazy. If you had a chance to play it, you should count yourself as very lucky, because the word on the street right now, and by street I mean internet, which isn't a street at all, is that there are some long waits involved with getting online. Now, in spite of EA's efforts to stagger the number of people going online in order to allow a smooth playing experience, there are reports that the average wait time is 40 to 60 minutes. The game's executive producer Jeff Hickman was quick to make a statement. He said, "On one hand, you do not want people to wait too long. On the other hand, you want to make sure that people have a dynamic, engaging community to play with long after launch. While we can't promise that there won't ever be queues, we can promise that we are taking this matter seriously and constantly reviewing them to make sure that they are manageable and reasonable." Now, if I haven't been paying attention, they've staggered the launch so that people who pre-ordered the game really early on, when it was first announced, are being given early access because they're first come first serve. The regular game itself doesn't even come out until tomorrow, so this could very well turn into a full-scale clusterfuck internet-wise. However, when talking about MMOs, it's really important to keep in mind that first M. They are massive. There are a lot of people, a lot of things going on there, so it makes sense there'd be some pressure on servers. However, our producer Zach has been playing, and he didn't have any problems with lag, so there's the bright side. The waits might be long, but the experience otherwise seems to be pretty good.
Yeah. I've heard nothing but positive things about it so far.
Are you interested?
I'd like to give it a shot. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan.
But
as
you are one for
know.
MMOs.
I do enjoy myself a good MMO, so
It's very curious.
We will see. I did not pre-order it though, no.
You'll have to wait 3 months then.
3
I'm
months.
Kidding. I'm kidding. Tara, why don't you
Screw
take
that.
a word from our sponsor?
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Attention, fellow carousers. That includes you. The police will be out in full force nationwide from December 16th to January 2nd in a nationwide effort to crack down on impaired driving. Now, we all know the holidays are a festive time, and for a lot of us, that means stuffing ourselves with food and then drinking champagne until we pass out from a self-induced coma at 8 p.m. If you do plan on driving, though, partaking in even one too many drinks can increase the risk of a crash. In December 2009 alone, over 750 people were killed in traffic accidents involving drivers with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08 or higher. It's just not worth the risk. So please don't put yourself or others in danger. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Indeed.
Important message.
That's a good message.
Yes, especially this time of year when people are drinking like fishes.
Just stay home and play in the wrapping paper.
Yeah.
It's much safer. Okay, so I seem to remember about this time last year, the hot new thing was the Nintendo 3DS. Everyone who hadn't played one wanted to know if the 3D actually worked and what the thing felt like and how good the battery life was. And people were stealing them from factories and uploading videos. It was just madness.
Yeah, now you can just buy one, like
Exactly.
no big deal.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even do that.
Yeah, exactly.
This year we've got the PlayStation Vita, though, which was released in Japan on Saturday, and the internet is just abuzz with initial reactions. For starters, the handheld itself did not sell out. Sony shipped an estimated 700,000 units, and reports are coming in that it's possible to walk into a store and buy one without a pre-order. This might seem like bad news for Sony, except for the fact that they shipped an additional 200,000 units to retail in a response to pre-order demands. So people seem to like it.
Not
and
bad.
if you recall, the 3DS actually shipped 400,000 units initially. So.
Yeah, so
It
they're
hasn't
already
sold
doing
out,
better.
but it's selling well. Memory cards, however, did sell out in a lot of places. An estimated 90% of Vita customers also purchased Sony's expensive new proprietary way of storing save files. Now, a lot of people have been worried that the Vita is too big, in size. But looking at these comparison photos with the PSP, you can clearly see that it is not that bad, unless you thought the PSP was too big to begin with, in which case you're probably going to be mad about that. Somebody even ripped his Vita open to look at the inside of it, and it looks like the inside of an electronic device that somebody ripped open, voiding their warranty. Now, as is frequently the case with new gizmos, people are reporting the problems they're currently having with the Vita. The main problem right now seems to be unresponsive touchscreens and the device freezing up here and there. Not everyone's had this, but some people have, and here's a video of one person having that problem. Now, keep in mind, the Vita has a lot of bells and whistles, and obviously the more bells and whistles something has, the more chances, some of them won't work. In typical Sony fashion, however, there is already a firmware update ready to download, and it is completely unclear if that's related to these touchscreen freezing issues or if they were just releasing it for the hell of it. Now, there was initial scare that the Vita could not be charged through its USB port and required the use of an AC adapter. That rumor has been debunked, and apparently USB charging just has to be turned on separately in settings, so that's a thing. I was actually wondering about this. When I previewed the Vita games last week, all the demo units were hooked up to AC power. Both cables use the same port, which is sort of at the bottom there. And if you have a PSP Go, it's that same outlet they use for that. So if you don't have a PSP Go, that's you're gonna have a new cable to get lost in your house because
Thanks a lot, Sony.
wires everywhere. I wish that Sony could just maybe look at what USB stands for. It is Universal Serial Bus. And maybe use a plug that I already have one of, like the thing I use for my phone, or I don't know, the one that comes out of the PlayStation 3.
That would be way too easy, Max.
Oh,
Way
it's
too
so
easy.
complicated and terrible, and I don't know. I'm complaining though, and honestly, I want a PlayStation Vita. I'm very excited about this stupid, expensive little thing, and I plan to buy one when it comes out.
Yeah.
And I will own it and play it. Anyway, that comes out in the U.S. and Europe on February 22nd, and Australia on the 23rd. So. Start skimping on them
PS
Valentine's Day
Vita.
presents.
It's no Xbox.
You're very observant.
Speaking of Xbox, we've got an Xbox to give away. Now, this was a tough choice. You guys remember our Xbox Halo Reach contest? We got about 70 entries for it, and it's clear that you guys, well, some of you guys, put quite a bit of effort into your entries, and it legitimately upsets me when we can't just give free things out to everyone. I really wish that we could, but we can't. That said, we did narrow it down to some winners. Let's start with the runners-up, each of whom won a copy of Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. Starting with Chris Johnson. He drew a Mr. Destructoid battle tank, otherwise known as the optimal way to destroy your enemies.
That's a very lovely picture.
Yeah.
You can't really see it on the screen, but that's, I think it's colored pencils, or at least some kind of crayons. Very nice, very colorful.
Very vibrant.
Excellent work. Good use of
Excellent
color.
shading.
Good color
job.
theory.
A+.
Yep.
Next up, we got Kim Smith. She drew Max and myself and Mr. Destructoid outrunning a grunt in our Warthog. There's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
I love this. I love this
Coincidentally, I'm wearing the same outfit as I am in the drawing.
picture. Yep.
Totally
we are
not planned, you
predictable
guys.
people. There was like a 50-50 chance that she would draw me wearing this outfit
Yeah.
or the other outfit. So there you go. Then we have. Do you want to? Can I do it? I'll do it. Okay.
please.
Justin Fitzwater
There
did
we
this
go.
one. He said Halo Combat Evolved was the first game he ever got for Xbox, and for his drawing, he thought it would be fun to imagine what it would be like if the pods were opened, but I was in one of the pods and I didn't actually wake up. Because it's funny when I get hit with a dildo, I guess, because it's the joke we have on the show.
I don't think you were going to get hit with it. I think something else.
What else would you do with... Oh. Anyway,
Yeah.
Tara, do you want to tell them about the grand prize?
Okay, the grand prize, which includes a limited edition Halo Reach Xbox 360 and a copy of Halo Reach, goes to Marcelo Laborda. Look at this awesome drawing, you guys. Wow. That's Chubby Max there, and myself along with Anthony Carboni, who you may recognize from his plaid shirt. He says his favorite moment from Halo Combat Evolved is the legendary ending when the Elite holds Sergeant Johnson's butt. He said Hamza would know what he was talking about.
Yeah, that went over my head.
I watched the video of it. It's quite sensual. So thank you, Marcelo, for providing me with a new desktop image, and thank you to each and every one of you who entered the contest, all the runners-up. Great stuff. And last but not least, thank you to Microsoft for providing us with some awesome prizes.
Is my hair that big? Is it actually that big?
Yeah.
God damn.
Sorry to have to tell you, Max.
All right, well, let's wrap this up.
Do the Twitter thing?
Okay, the Twitter thing. As you guys know, you can follow us on Twitter. Our official show Twitter is @DtoidShow, and I am @Max Scoville, and she is @Tara and we always say silly things on there. We're going to be back here on Wednesday, and we will see you guys then. Have a good night.